I don't want to brag, but I think I've cracked it. I know how to write a perfect ChatGPT prompt every single time, and in this video, I'm gonna teach you so that you could get spot-on results on your first try. It's no secret that ChatGPT is a very powerful language model that can be used for a ton of stuff like generating text, translating, and much more. However, the quality of ChatGPT's output depends heavily on the quality of the prompt it is given. The simpler the prompt, the more unpredictable the results. So if you want your results to be better, you need to start by ditching the pleasantries. Just tell ChatGPT what you want it to do. Start with the action word. When you are telling ChatGPT what you want it to do, it helps it to focus on the task at hand and generate a more relevant response instead of processing all your can you please, what do you think, maybe you could, and so on. For AI, these words mean nothing, and you want to minimize any distractions from the goal. For example, instead of asking, can you write a blog post about artificial intelligence, ask, write a blog post about artificial intelligence. This is a more direct and effective way to ask ChatGPT to generate the content you want. But even this way, your prompt still will be super simple, so some context is needed. The more context you can provide ChatGPT, the better it will be able to understand your request and generate a high-quality response. This includes providing information about the topic you're writing about, the tone you want to use, and the target audience. If I ask to write a blog post about marketing, the results will be predictably bland. To fix everything, I'd need to make many more adjustments and follow-up questions, and this would waste a ton of time. So instead, I just ask, write a 1,000-word blog post about digital marketing for beginners using a conversational tone. This provides ChatGPT with more information about the specific content I want it to generate. And the response, as expected, is much more thorough and informative with more attention to subtle things. Given more context than a vague description helps to reduce the chances of generating inaccurate or irrelevant information. And if there are marketing experts watching this, tell me in the comments how much better the new response is than the old one. And to make prompts even better, you can always subscribe to our channel, and if you're getting value out of this video, just smash the like button, +5 to prompt writing guarantee. And since I'm already talking about context, I want to say a few words about being specific. I know being specific sounds a lot like providing context, but it is slightly different. Context is more about the complexity, and specifics tackles everything else. Let me show you. Let's ask ChatGPT to write a blog post about marketing. Again, no context, no specifics, nothing. And the results are still just as simplistic and vague as before. But watch what happens when I ask to write a 1,000-word blog post about digital marketing for beginners, using a conversational tone and targeting general audience divided into 5 parts, with each one having a short list. This prompt is even more specific because it also specifies the target audience and the main elements of some paragraphs. The resultant response, in my opinion, is now much better. The more specific you can be in your ChatGPT prompt, the better. This will help ChatGPT to generate a response that meets your exact needs. And let me show you a few more examples. Write a poem about a cat. Not bad, but the plot is not what I expected. Now a more specific one. Compose a poem about a cat who gets stuck in a tree using a humorous tone. And yeah, this is much better, much more like it. And learning how to write great prompts is absolutely free. Same can now be said about STEM fields with Brilliant, the sponsor of today's video. I love Brilliant because it's the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science in a fun and interactive way. With thousands of lessons from basics to advanced topics, there's something for everyone. One of my favorite things about Brilliant is that it customizes the content to your needs. When you sign up, you'll take a quick quiz to assess your skill level and interests. Then Brilliant will match you with lessons that are perfect for you. No matter what your skill level, Brilliant's guided lessons let you explore concepts at your own pace. If you get stuck, there are helpful hints and step-by-step solutions to get you back on track. One of my personal favorite courses is CS and Programming, Thinking in Code. It's really good at introducing the fundamentals of how a computer thinks and does it in an interactive, gamified way. I also love that Brilliant is constantly adding new lessons. There's always something new to learn, no matter how far you've come. If you're looking for a fun and engaging way to learn STEM subjects, I highly recommend Brilliant. You can get started for free today with a 30-day free trial, and the first 200 people to sign up using my link will get 20% off an annual plan. So simply visit the link brilliant.org/AI Master in the description below. To finish this specifics related part, I think it's worth mentioning that ChatGPT responds really well to examples. If you have something in mind, feed it to the algorithms. This will help ChatGPT to better better understand your expectations, let it adjust the writing style, vocabulary, and structuring. I can ask ChatGPT to write a funny story and get an average response. Or I can ask it to write a funny story about a dog who gets lost in the city, similar to the story of the dog who loved too much. Regardless of that, the resultant story feels much more like an example story, thus freeing me from needing to manually tweak every aspect of the way it's written. ChatGPT accepts all sorts of text, so if you're trying to copy someone's writing style for your business language and promotional materials, just paste the text. Another advice you might have used is roleplay. When you give ChatGPT a specific role to play, you're essentially telling it what kind of responses you're looking for. This helps ChatGPT to generate more creative and specific text that feel human-made. Sometimes it can get pretty scary how well it writes and how convincing it can be. For example, instead of asking, write a blog post about the benefits of exercise, ask, I am a personal trainer. Write a blog post for my website about the benefits of exercise. And just look at it. It's not just properly formatted, but is filled with useful information and small bits of motivation. If I was to read this text somewhere on the fitness instructor's page, I would have totally believed it. Anyway, you have to remember a few things. 1, be as specific as possible. For example, instead of saying act as a scientist, say act as a biologist who is studying the effects of climate change on polar bears. 2, do not derail the conversation or change the role in one chat. It will confuse ChatGPT and lead to responses becoming incoherent and just wrong. And 3, have fun and be creative. I also like to be super clear about the format of the response, whether I want a poem, an article, email, code, a listicle. Listicle sounds cute. Always specify the format of the response to get the best results. I can ask for the good old post about social media marketing and get an average result, or I can ask to write a 5-part listicle about social media marketing tips for small businesses. This will give me a properly structured and coherent text that really belongs in someone's blog. Now, you've seen all the parts of the puzzle separately, and to get a really great result, we need to combine everything, and I'm gonna use the formula for it. Perfect prompt equals action word plus context plus specifics plus examples plus roleplay plus format. This formula ensures that my prompts are clear, concise, and informative. It also gives ChatGPT all the information it needs to generate a high-quality response that meets my exact needs every time. Of course, this formula is flexible and can vary depending on what you need. For example, if you're asking ChatGPT to generate a creative text format, you may want to emphasize the roleplay and format elements of the formula. If you're asking ChatGPT to translate a sentence, you may want to focus on the context and specifics elements of the formula. You got the gist. For the ideal prompt, I have 2 versions, a shorter one and a longer one. The shorter one looks like this, stating the length, format, the topic, the target audience. I also mentioned the information I want covered, a few words about styling, and I ask to add lists. To finish things off, I'm gonna ask to create a shorter version of this text for emails, and that's it. Detailed, informative, and free of useless information. Perfect for ChatGPT. And when you look at the results, this text looks perfect, no refinement needed. To make it even better, I can use a long version of this prompt. It looks like a small text itself, but it's totally worth spending time to write. I basically go over everything I've mentioned before, but write it as separate parts of the prompt. This way I can just take this prompt and reuse it every time without substantial rewrites. Super convenient. This is officially the perfect prompt. Let's recap everything real quick. Start with an action word, no messing around. Then give context and specifics about the audience, topic, complexity, and so on. If needed, add an example or reference. Do some role play for more accurate and topic-specific results, and do everything like a big editable prompt to save time. Follow these steps and you will get perfect prompts and great results every time. If you are a geek, you can try and use parameters for your prompts. And to know more about that, check out our video about secret ChatGPT prompts. We'll make you a ChatGPT guru in no time. Also, sub to the channel, hit the like button, very important, and see you in the next one.